Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our Universiti Idris. We from Group 8 will be presenting sand casting and metal mating process. Next, we consist of 3 group members, which is myself, Mohd Khushaini bin Kamaruzaman with matrix number 213141, and the second person, Prasanth A Murugayah with matrix number 212928, and the third group member is Azrul Hisyam bin Azmi with matrix number 213222. Next, so for introduction part, sand casting or sand melted casting is a metal casting process described by using sand as the mold material. Sand casting may manufacture products that machining cannot produce, such as complex shapes, uneven curved surface, and metal pieces. The method of sand casting is used to manufacture more than 70% of all metal castings. Industry like automotive, aerospace, etc. frequently use sand casting to produce parts made of iron, bronze, brass, and occasionally aluminium. The desired metal is melted in a furnace and put into a sand-made mold hole, and sand casting is employed because it is cheap and the procedure is rather straightforward. Sand cast components frequently include faults, and these imperfections might change how the cast material behaves. Next, please. The method used here is full mold casting, where it uses an expanded polyester foam pattern, which is then surrounded by sand, much like sand casting. The molten metal is then poured directly into the mold, which vaporizes the foam upon contact. That's all from my part. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Khushaini. I will present about the sand casting procedures. For the first step of sand casting procedures is to draw the desired shape on a polystyrene board. Second one is to cut the polystyrene board and trim it to become the pattern. Then, according to the size of the pattern, 4 pieces of plywood were cut and assembled using a stapler gun to become a core board. And then, prepare and mix the core sand with ratio 70 milliliters of water, 5 kilograms of silica sand, and 30 milliliters of sodium silicate. For the fifth step for the sand casting procedure is fill the bottom of the core board with the sand mixture. Then ram the sand mixture present in the core board with the help of a rammer. Then continue adding and ramming the sand mixture until it is densely and fully packed in the core board. Next, insert the rod into the core to create holes. When the rod is withdrawn, a channel remains in the core that is called a sprue. The sand was pressed and packed firmly, and several holes were made as advanced. The last step for the sand casting is to supply the carbon dioxide gas was passed through the mixture of the sand. Okay, we move on to the metal casting procedure. First is heat up the aluminium in the furnace. Then pour the molten aluminium into the crucible. Then pour it into the sand molding. Let the melting material cool first, then break the core board to see the result. And the last step is to trim the surface of the product with a grinder. Okay, that's all from my part. I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, I'm about to explain the discussion part. The metal melting for the aluminium would typically involve the heating the aluminium to its melting point, which around 660 degrees Celsius, which is 100,000 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This can be done using a furnace or a propane torch. Once aluminium is in a liquid state, it can pour into the mold. It is important to note that the temperature of the metal and the mold must be carefully controlled to prevent the defects in the final product. The temperature of the metal should be high enough to ensure that it is in a liquid state, but not so high that it will cause the metal to boil or degrade. The temperature of the mold should not control to prevent thermal shock, which can cause the mold to crack. It's also important to use appropriate type of sand for the mold, and green sand is typically used for sand casting as it has a good collapsibility, refractionaries, and also thermal stability. Additionally, the sand should be moist and compacted properly to give a good surface finishing and also dimensional accuracy. For the conclusion part, the sand is widely used manufacturing process. Sand casting is a widely used manufacturing process that can be used to produce a wide range of metal parts. It is relatively simple, inexpensive, and also versatile. However, it does have some limitations such as it needs a pattern for each part, which can be costly and also time consuming to produce their parts. Metal melting experiment is a laboratory process that it is used to study the properties of metals such as melting point, viscosity, and also impurities. This experiment can use to teach students about the properties of different metals and also process of metallurgy. Both sand casting and metal melting experiment are important in the field of metallurgy and also manufacturing. Next slide. That's all from us today. Thank you.